Hey guys, I hope that you're all doing well. We are here with a timeless reading. The first card that we have out is Hermit. I'm also seeing Five of Swords. This looks like by pulling back, there's something that comes to light that may not have been occurring to you before. Something about this stepping back allows you to see something that wasn't being seen before. That something looks like it's the Five of Swords. What this can mean is that you can be seeing where your own stuff was getting in the way of you seeing a situation clearly, or even how it was like a filter over the situation. So it could have been adding a layer that maybe you weren't aware of it being there in the first place when we have Five of Swords. So this can be realizing where you had been closed off, realizing where you hadn't been in a space where there had been a sense of trust. I see Five of Swords, generally speaking, I see that as being stuff that's going on within the heart space, where there can be an over identification with what's going on within your head, to the point where there can be a shutting down within the heart space, and then there's that disconnection between the two. And sometimes it can come in the form of feeling like other people are looking at you in that way, like other people are having a problem with what you're doing, or there's a disapproving energy, or like you're not good enough, or like is something wrong with you, and then you realize that this was your own mental projection onto the situation. So it can be something that you're seeing like anywhere. It reminds me of the notion about how everywhere you look, what you see is what's going on inside of you. And so you could have really felt like, no, I'm seeing the Five of Swords, I'm seeing the Five of Swords, and it's not that you're not seeing the Five of Swords, you are, but thinking that it comes from anywhere other than yourself. This can be a time where there's a realization about that. It can also too be like feeling like things are your fault, maybe taking the blame for something, when that's also not your energy. It's either somebody's coming through, they can be in the energy of the Five of Swords, and you can recognize that's not yours to be taking on, or this can be you seeing your own stuff and saying like, it was me looking at myself like that, disguised as me thinking it was that other person, and this is really about my own feelings towards myself. And this can be something that's coming to light, and it's a beautiful thing to come to light because it allows you to take back control of the narrative rather than feeling like something that you are at the mercy of. You realize where this is coming from, and then you master the energy. This can be something that wasn't seen before. Let's see how this was taking shape. What form was this coming through? This just looks like something that was showing up and being offered to you. And I even get like a neutral, I'm being drawn to the gray in this card that is the Ace of Pentacles, clarifying Five of Swords. What this means is that there's something appearing, there's an opportunity, there is something being offered to you, and you could have been looking at it a little bit sideways here with the Five of Swords, thinking that there's something wrong with it, but really it's just a reflection of your own space, like where you are energetically. As much as that can be difficult to hear sometimes, it can also feel liberating too. That doesn't have to be the be-all end-all of the narrative. I mean, yeah, having Five of Swords and then having the sun next to it, the sun connected with our ego, our core, this can definitely be a little bit of like, I wasn't realizing that that was me. And this feels like a realizing that that was me, realizing that that's where that was coming from. This can be bringing to light places where you're scared. It can be insecurities. It can be places where you're having a hard time allowing vulnerability. Because what I'm seeing is Nine of Cups and Ace of Swords, which means that there is a breakthrough when it comes to you understanding what you want in a deep way. And it can be the exact thing that you were actually pushing away, only to realize that that was actually what you wanted. And Five of Swords, we don't walk around and do that because it's fun. It's a self-preservation tactic. It's something that we do to protect ourselves because of the fear of, like, if I let myself want that, if I admit that to myself, if I really allow myself to be in touch with my heart space, what if things don't go how I want? What if I end up getting hurt? What if I am left feeling disappointed? So might as well not allow myself to go there in the first place. And there can be a realizing of that there are things coming up that actually do resonate with you, but the part of you that is having a difficult time allowing those things in and accepting that, you can be finding ways to try to push it away for reasons of self-preservation. It's not that you don't want it, but this can be a, like, I'm convincing myself unconsciously that there's something wrong with this, when really it's just me. And this is feeling intimidating to me, or this is feeling triggering to me because of what this is bringing up. It's reminding me of times in the past, maybe when I have felt a sense of rejection, or when I've gotten hurt, or when I've felt disappointed. So even though it's not saying that this situation will lead there, it's this unconscious way of projecting that onto things so we don't take the shot anyway. So it takes away the opportunity to miss the shot. Simultaneously, it takes away the opportunity to actually get the shot to go in the basket as well. So you just stay sort of in that neutral space. But it's not so neutral actually, because when we have the Five of Swords there, it's a fear mentality. Based off of stuff from the past. This is you reflecting on past stuff. Stuff that has left you feeling a type of way, to protect yourself. Again, it's not that we do it on purpose. This is a time when there's an awareness being brought about through this. Oh, something else too, another way that you can recognize this is that if you see things going on around you, like you see like a happy couple walking down the street and that is feeling triggering, that's going to tell you something about what's going on within you. And it's not bad that you are feeling that way, and this notion has been coming up a lot. It's not bad that you're feeling that way. You don't need to identify with the emotions that you're experiencing, internalize them, and then give them some type of value that's reflective of you and your character. You can experience that, say, oh, I'm having this feeling right now. I'm seeing that thing that looks happy or that looks loving. Why am I not feeling love in my heart when I see that? What's going on with me? What is the message there? So you can properly understand and utilize a feeling when it comes up, rather than improperly take that and assign that to your character when that's not why it's coming up and that's not what it means. It's like being able to properly interpret emotions and recognize that it's not coming through to tell you you're a bad person or something's wrong with you. The reason that those things are coming through is to tell you where there can be pain that we're not totally aware of or something that we haven't processed fully yet. This can be times when you felt like an outcast or felt on the outside or felt like there's sort of a hub of something happening and I want to be in there. There can also be a feeling of, what is it like when you look at something and you want it? There can be like a feeling of envy too that you're experiencing. Or disgust even. Whatever it is, however it comes through for you. And then that's what you end up manifesting more of. Scenarios that allow you to protect your ego and to not have to be vulnerable and keep you away from what you actually want. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. But now that all of this is coming to light, it feels like there's something that you're becoming aware of. Like, oh, because I've been thinking about that so much. Again, whether you're thinking about it and it's making you mad or whatever it is, however it is that you're experiencing it, because it can feel like negative emotions type of experience that you're having. It's coming up to say that that's something that's sort of on your radar. And I think too that there's stuff that's coming up about your values as well. Something else that I'm seeing here too is that you can be recognizing where there's a part of you that you don't feel totally ready to allow yourself to feel vulnerable within connections. It may be a certain type of connection, it can be connections in general. There's a part of you that can feel like you're not ready, and so there's a pushing away of those because of not wanting to feel taken advantage of, because you're still learning about your boundaries, and you can also still be learning about how to about your values and about your boundaries. So this can be something where it's like, I know that when I make a connection with another person, or when I care, I pour my whole heart out, and this actually comes from a place where I feel like I'm too sensitive. I feel like it just changes me when I get connected with someone, when I get involved in a relationship, and then I feel like I end up getting hurt because I'm like taken advantage of, or I'm vulnerable and the other person isn't. And again, like all of this stuff to sort of keep things at a distance, because of feeling like people are going to take advantage of me, like I'm too kind, I'm too giving, when really this comes even further back to a place of I'm not always aware of my values, and I don't always reinforce them either. I don't always honor myself, and also too, then I do things that I'm betraying myself when I get connected with another person or other people. And so this Five of Swords is coming up to keep me protected from getting too close, because when I do, I feel like I lose myself entirely, and I don't like when that happens. And then all of the things that sort of unfold because of it. And that's sort of getting to the basis of where this comes from. It can be something where there's like definitely a feeling of self-betrayal here. And you can, in a way, be checking up on your definitions, your beliefs when it comes to what love looks like, what caring looks like. Does it mean that you completely neglect yourself and make it all about the other person, and you're mistaking codependency for love? What's going on with that? So it can be a time when you really get to the bottom of this, and I think that it's a way for us to bypass when, again, like we see, for example, that happy couple walking down the street, and then we feel a type of way about it and just write it off as like I'm a bad person or whatever, and like keep walking. And then it's sort of like copping out from going deeper and seeing like what's that about, what's going on there. And this can be a time where when we have the Hermit here, there can be a deeper reflection of this. If I know within my heart, in a pure space, that like I do love because that is my organic nature, why is that something that feels triggering to me? Why is that something that feels upsetting to me? Why does that bring all of this stuff up for me? Where is that coming from? So now can be a time where there's a lot of looking into past stuff and uncovering things. Otherwise, there can be more of I'm strategically doing things within my life that keep other people and other things at arm's length, so I don't have to feel that sense of connection that I am longing for, but simultaneously I feel a sense of fear and I'm motivated by that because I want to keep myself safe, because actually like I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I don't know how to enter into a connection in a healthy way. And so keeping it away is what I'm doing to protect myself. And then you don't have that experience. So it's really just a defense mechanism. But you can feel too, like what's coming to light is that what you want is just something that aligns with your values. And you can recognize too that the reason why things have gone the way that they have in the past is that there may have not been a full realization of what your values are. And if there's not a recognition of that, how are you going to honor what your values are? And then you do things that are out of alignment with your values, and then you don't feel good within the relationships because you know something's wrong, because there's conflict that we feel because we need to work something out, and we can have a hard time figuring out what that is. So then we can write it off completely. This feels like there is your heart is asking you for one thing and then your ego is saying another thing to you, and that can just be sort of the place that you're in right now with all of this, where like you may have been moving along sort of keeping things at arm's length, and now you're getting to a place where there's a part of you that may be in a mentality where you're still like attempting to keep things at a distance, and then there's other stuff that's coming to light where you actually, those things that you're keeping at a distance, you want to pull towards you. You're having a breakthrough when it comes to things about your past, and then this is going to allow you to take action once you feel like you're in a place of understanding of yourself emotionally, which also feels too like this is what's going on as well. Like there's what's been happening when you keep connections at arm's length is that you also keep that part of yourself at arm's length as well. It's like you keep that part of yourself in the dark, and it feels like that part of yourself is coming up and becoming visible again, and you have the opportunity now to work through this stuff and to actually be able to allow relationships within your life. I really do get the sense that you've been doing things strategically that feel like this is how I protect myself and keep myself whole and together, by not getting too deeply involved in other things where my heart is connected, when really what's been happening is that you've been keeping you separated from yourself here. And that part is now trying to come back home. And there can be a part of you that's feeling terrified about that sense of being close with yourself, that sense of intimacy with yourself. But through this, there's going to be a sense of understanding, and it will be something that you can allow to connect back and come back together. I do feel like stuff from your past is coming up that can be difficult to digest because of how much it doesn't align with your values, but it can be stuff that you did in the past, that it's hard when those memories come up because you're like, you want to push it away, you want to deny it, you want to protect yourself from it because of how much that does not align with your values, when really it's not coming up to have you feeling bad or to have you internalize that and identify with it and blame yourself, or like give yourself some weird label that's connected with this. The only reason this is coming up is to tell you, like, that thing happened, and when you were involved with that, you may have done things that, or things happened that were not aligned with your values. It's coming up to shed light on what your values are. And that's the only reason that it's coming back up. So you can know, like, how you want relationships to go and how those are aligned with your values. So by that experience of what was not aligned with your values, you're gaining so much more information about what is aligned with your values. But again, if you're just keeping it at a surface level and like trying to push this away and not go deeper and get the deeper message behind this, it's something where like that wisdom can be lost on us. So really stuff is all coming back not to torture you, not to make you feel bad, not to have you shut down in the heart space, but to actually open yourself back up to you and see, like, what was that part of you seeking? Like, what were you looking for? How was it channeled in a way that may have been like incorrect for what you were actually looking for, and how to correct that? And then you can release that past stuff. It doesn't have to be there anymore. But if there continues to be this self-denial, it's something that will still remain unreconciled. And that's what this is giving you the opportunity to do, to reconcile with your past here, so you can have these breakthroughs, and so you can finally release this and not have it like creeping you out by following you around here like a zombie, wanting you to just pay attention to it and listen. Like, you can finally shake hands with it and let it go on its way. And then you can feel like you're living your life presently, and you don't have to be stuck running away from this stuff anymore. There can also be shame that's involved in this as well. There can be stuff that's connected with like the things that I did when I was looking for a sense of connection, when I just wanted to feel whole within myself and I didn't feel that, and the things that I did to try to like bring myself back home. And it feels like a big review of those things. And because too, the only major arcana that we have here is Virgo. Virgo can be a time when we are channeling the archetype of the energy of Virgo, it can be very, very harsh, very self-critical. And so compassion, self-forgiveness, self-love, there can be these like extremely high standards that we hold ourselves to, where we don't allow room for our humanity or room for the parts of us that haven't totally understood concepts yet and are trying to find their way through the lesson. There can be this expectation like, before I even get the information and digest it to understand the lesson, I should know the answers already. And it doesn't work like that. And that can be where this comes from, this sense of perfectionism as well, like a lack of self-forgiveness, the high criticism of self. And then it can actually stop us from learning what we need to learn because of shutting down. All right, my friends, we're going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.